We're back, Deadwood, South Dakota, $1,100 Rough Rider Poker Tour. My favorite stop, bar none, of any place. The historic gambling town. We'll do a little shot of downtown later. But we are underway. We're on first break here.
Coming back to a small blind of 200, big blind of 400, big blind ante of 400. Dealers shuffle up and deal.
This is going to be the biggest turnout in the history of South Dakota poker. Real happy about my day 1B table draw today here in Deadwood. As you can see, we've got a mix of local players, recreational players, and just a very fun table in general. Some experienced players that have been around the block, been playing for years. Lots of great conversations and just your typical kind of Deadwood mix. And excited to get into battle in this table and to get to know the people, and just one of my favorite places to play here at the Silverado. So let's mix it up. So I am in Deadwood, South Dakota. I'm on my day off between 2 days, and I'm going to break down some of the hands from day 1B. One of the first hands I want to talk about was Ace King off on the button. This is a hand that's often misplayed across many spots of the tournament, particularly early. So the effective stack is roughly 75 big blinds. This is important to note because a lot of people will make big mistakes in tournaments like this because the starting stack is 30,000 instead of 50 or 60 in monster stacks. But the structure is still very good. You just have to get used to having less chips. So we have Ace King off on the button, facing a min raise from Peter Asmuth under the gun, and an MP1 3-bet to 3,000. So we got min raise, 3-bet. A lot of people here are just going to automatically 4-bet, but there's a few reasons why I played the hand the way that I did. One, I could easily be in a bad spot here, believe it or not, being up against aces, kings, or queens. So we get into a spot here where we could lose the tournament, and 70 big blinds is a lot, and it's an $1,100 buy-in. We want to be, playing really, really well, making good decisions, especially early, protecting the chips, but also when we flop an ace or a king, we have a very disguised hand, and we can actually win a whole lot of money after the flop. So I flat the 3,000. Peter 4-bets to 13,000. He's off of 26,000. And the 3-better, a solid older player, very experienced, 5-bet jams. Obviously, we easily fold ace king. Peter tanks forever and actually folds queens. And we find out later that the other player had pocket kings. So we avoided a catastrophe early, and it's just a good example of how ace king can be a trap hand, and how it's really important to pay attention to the positions under the gun, NP1, versus if we were facing a raise from the cutoff and a 3-bet from the button. But yeah, this is a spot that I avoided, and it was a well-played hand by myself and also by Peter. I mean, it's crazy to put half your chips in and fold, but in this case, he may have been right. We are in end of level 6 in the Rough Rider Poker Tour Silverado. Day 1B, first attempt to try to make it through, and so far it's going pretty well. We are down, we're up from 30K starting stack, and now we're at 45,600. You remember Calamity Jane from the last one? And let's go, everyday winning. Better get back in the action. I'll have some hands for you later. Everyday winning. One of the biggest hands I played throughout day 1 has a lot to do with sizing. I'm going to give you a little bit of a secret with playing exploitatively versus playing a strict GTO sizing strategy, is that you can go larger against the players that are following GTO, that are following the balance ranges. And you could actually go smaller against some of the more recreational players that you're wanting to get action from. And the other exploit is that when you want some of these players that are more recreational based to fold, you have to go bigger. And then also you can go bigger when you have strong hands, because eventually they're going to stand up to you. But we win a lot of chips from fold equity, so the bigger sizing against the rec players when they fold is great. We pick up a lot of chips. But in this case, I have pocket aces, 1,500 big blind. This gentleman to my right got an awesome mustache. He's from like an hour away, hour from Deadwood. Clearly been playing poker for years, grizzled veteran. And he makes it 4,000 at 1,500 big blind. Normally I'm supposed to raise a lot more than I did here. And a very good player, like the players at the table, some of the experienced players that are studying, GTO, they're going to know that my hand is really strong here because I make it just 10,000. We want the big blind to fold, obviously, but we don't want this guy to fold. And we might even induce him to go, to 4-bet. But obviously, he's a cowboy. He's not folding for 6,000 more. So we have 2 aces. He calls. Flop comes, not an ideal flop for our hand. It comes King Jack 9. That connects with a lot of his raise and 3-bet flatting range. So we kind of turn this hand into a kind of a multi-street value hand where we're trying to figure out a way to get a small amount of chips in on every street and maybe find some kind of a hero fold if we think he might have King Jack, Queen 10. But, we're still beating plenty of his hands, so let's make some money with aces. So on the flop, I lead into him from the small blind, and he calls. The turn is a blank. My heart's beating a little bit now because I'm like, man, I don't know what this guy is. He trapping me? What's happening? I bet again on the turn, just a little bit bigger, and he calls again, and the river pairs the king. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I go hardcore block bet. I bet 25% pot. I have 30,000 behind. He starts eyeing my chips, and I'm going, okay, does he have it or is he gonna bluff? Does he have it or is he gonna bluff? And ultimately, he looks at my chips and mucks his cards. So to this moment, I have no idea what he has to call on King Jack 9 X King. I don't know. What does he have that he can call flop and turn fold river? But great hand. This is one of the biggest hands we won so far, and we have a bigger hand against this gentleman coming up next.
Day 1C tomorrow will look to be huge too. We're on pace to crack 600 again and have the largest tournament in South Dakota State poker history.
So Robert, no matter what tree Omaha team is open.
The biggest one would be it's pretty deep, but we had a total of 600.
Once again, 1,500, 3,000, 3,000 big blind ante. This is the last level for re-entry as well as late entry.
This next hand, I'm really kind of questioning whether or not I made a mistake in this hand. I'll run it by you, and you can tell me what you think. Playing against John Schroer, solid player from Wyoming. At this point in time, I think he's tighter than he might actually be. We have ace queen of diamonds in the small blind, and if a guy is under the gun and solid, ace queen suited is fine to play off of the stack depth, but we just can't bloat the pot pre-flop because we're only really going to put money in against somebody that's potentially got us crushed. So it plays fine as a flat here versus under the gun raise. We call. Flop comes ace, king, 7, 2 spades. Now I'm thinking this is a good but not great flop. I mean, we're way ahead if we are ahead, and we want to be in a situation where we're getting money in when we're ahead and playing cautiously and, trying to maybe find an exit strategy if we're not. So I check, he bets. Definitely just playing this as a check call and not bloating the pot with a raise. We're playing off of 35 to 40 big blinds. Now the turn is an interesting card. The turn is an 8. And for whatever reason in game, I just decide to lead. I kind of block bet the turn. And I'm still not sure how I feel about this, but he doesn't raise, he just calls. So now I'm actually feeling pretty good that top pair is good. And so the river comes a 5 of spades, ace, king, 7, 2 spades, 8 on the turn, 5 of spades on the river. And I check, and John goes all in. And the mistake that I made from the beginning was that I wasn't paying close enough attention to his stack depth. I end up calling, probably should call, but my gut said fold, 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 fold. He probably has the flush. He did. He turns over 9, 8 of spades for the rivered flush. And now I have a different take on John as a player. I realize if he's capable of raising 9-8 suited under the gun, that he's probably a lot wider and more bluffy than what I thought. And he said, would you have called on the turn if I shoved? And I said, well, now I would after seeing how you played that hand. But, in the past, I probably would have folded top pair against him there. But anyway, interesting hand. It's weird when your gut says to fold, and I would save that 12,000 chips on the end, but you're getting 3 to 1, and you need a lot of chips to win a tournament. So I don't know, would you have called there? Most people say call, but nice hand, John. I'll see you on Sunday. Okay, so we're in really great shape, approaching the end of registration. Have over 175,000 from 30,000 starting chips. Right now, this is the biggest day 1B in the history of South Dakota poker. 28 minutes left. 185,000 chips after level 12. We are only playing 3 more levels. 2 more hours. That's it. 2 more hours. Hey guys, you guys both made it to the end of registration. This is Nobu right here. That's Mikio right there. I said you were the most likable person on the tour. Nobu's in the top 10%. Actually, he's really awesome too, but Mikio is, they're both crushers. And they happen to be seated at the same table, brother, sister. Bad news, Mikio Aoki just came to my table. Also, the other bad news is that I doubled up my friend Larry. But the other good news is I trapped Terrence with pocket kings. Only way you can get money in against Terrence Reed is by trapping. New table. We're sitting at just under 200,000 chips. So we made day 2. We are bagging 130,000, which is over 4 times the starting stacks. So yeah, we're bagging and tagging, coming back not in the money. So still a lot of work to do on day 2. Nobu has 208K. How many chips, Mikio? Huh? 400? Bro's got 208. Yay. Day 1B, biggest in the history of South Dakota. We make it to day 2 with 130,000 chips. Over 4 times what we started the tournament with, which was 30,000. So we're in the game. We've got a real shot. Gonna take the day off tomorrow. Come back on Sunday. 36 players advanced today out of 230. On the eve of day 2, one of the most important things to do, especially if you advance early, is to track down one of these lists, either online through Poker News or through, in this case, the Rough Rider Poker Tour will list some of the chip counts. So I look at these names and I go through all these names and I research every single advancing player. Final updates before going into day 2. Here's what we have. The total entries is 671. There are currently 104 players left. In this particular flight, there's 48 out of 293, and they're playing the same blind level we ended yesterday. So they're playing 2,000, 4,000, 4,000. They still have to lose 12 more players. So here we go. These are our numbers. We've got first flight, 148 players, 19 advanced. Second flight, this is the one I played. 230 players, 36 advanced. And then today, 293 playing down to 36. Now, this is one of the most important things, that when you're able to make it through a day early, is to go through and do some major intel work. So here's what we got. So we are on to day 2 of the $1,100 South Dakota State Poker Championship. I'm feeling confident. I'm excited about a potential three-peat of the final table here in Deadwood. We had the second place MSPT in 2022, the 5th place in 2023 when it was a Rough Rider, and feeling excited. Didn't get the best night of sleep, but we're in and we're ready to rock and roll. First hand, we looked down at ace-8 versus a late position shove by Arlie. We're off of about 31 big blinds. Now, I'm thinking right now, I'm grinding. I'm trying to accumulate chips, go for the win, get, a chip stack I can contend with. But at the same time, we're starting to get to some ICM pressure where our chips matter not just for final tabling and winning, but also for getting in the money, which is $2,300. Over 2 times what the buy-in is, so we're trying to make really good decisions. I fold, good fold. Arlie ends up having ace-10. A little bit later, we run into another interesting spot. Blinds are only 2,000, 4,000, 4,000. 4,000 big blind ante. It's costing about 10,000 a round. Now we're sitting off of about 27.5 bigs. Big raise from Dakota Greer from Cody, Wyoming. He raises from the cutoff. And Arlie elects to flat call, which is a really, really interesting spot here. He's on the button. What's he doing? Why is he calling here? Well, he doesn't have a lot of chips to be playing. So I have ace-10. This hand is strong, but not great. It's got a couple issues with it. It's flop dependent and potentially flop dominated. If we flop an ace, we're losing to ace-jack through ace-king. Flop a 10, we're losing the jacks through aces, and a flatting is okay. 3-betting, some people might do that, but we don't have really a stack that's in great position to be doing a lot of play. So something goes off of my intuition, I fold. Flop comes 10, 9, 5. C-bet by Dakota. Arlie jams. Dakota snap calls with the pocket queens. Our ace-10 is crushed, but even more crushed by Arlie's pocket aces. And Dakota gets crippled, and we avoid catastrophe here. Soon after, Dakota gets his queens beat by Arlie's pocket aces. We run into a very interesting hand where Preston Dean and I and Dakota get involved in a very interesting hand. We have the ace-queen. Dakota goes all in for 2.5 big blinds. And we decide to isolate here with ace-queen, which is a strong hand versus his short stack shove. And we're trying to knock him out and force everybody else out. But also, we're in a position where if somebody else comes over the top, we're close enough to the money where ace-queen is definitely going to be crushed. So we isolate to 34,000. Preston Dean calls out of the small blind. Very strange play, but he is a wide player. He plays a lot of hands, and he's got more chips than us. So this is a precarious spot. The flop comes ace, king, 3, 2 spades. Preston checks. Dakota's all in, pre-flop. I c-bet. Relatively small. We're trying to pot control and also get some value versus all of his worst aces and versus his king X's. He can definitely have king, queen, king, jack. His range is as wide as the sea. So I c-bet. He calls. Now the turn comes, the worst card in the deck, king of spades, pairs the king and brings in the flush draw. Preston Dean leads. I don't have to think very long before folding ace queen, and he rolls over the king queen. Dakota rolls over king 3 for kings full of 3s. He flopped 2 pair, and Preston has tripped kings and wins the side pot. So we get purely one-outed by Preston and end up unfortunately losing a difficult hand. So Day 2 is not off to a good start. Now we're going to be in need of some hardcore grinding. Now I have one of my favorite little tidbits about World Series of Poker play is that I have 3 caches of the 36 so far with 1 big blind. I know a lot about ICM. I've studied it. I know the importance of caching in every tournament, but especially if you're traveling across the country and you're playing in 1100, you know how to cache. You know how to turn that buy-in into money, and people make a lot of mistakes. On the other side, once in a while I'll make a mistake like I did on this next hand and value that cache so much that you don't play your hand properly. I'll get into that in a moment. So I pocket kings. I raise 5,000 big blind now. I make it small. I make it 10,000. We're really trying to get action here. I am willing to go broke with kings on the bubble. Pre-flop. Lady to my left calls. Good old Preston Dean calls on the button. And Dakota, who's now got a little bit more chips, calls from the big blind. The flop now comes 7, 5, 4, 2 hearts. We've got pocket kings with the king of hearts. It's definitely a dangerous flop. It smashes Dakota's big blind range. So I should probably continuation bet, but remember, we don't have a lot of chips right now. Our stack to pot ratio is getting dangerously close. So, but we're not in a shove spot right now. We probably got about 2 streets of betting here if the bets are normal. I check. It goes over to Preston, who bets really small, just insanely small. He bets 10,000, which is like less than 20% pot. Now here's where I go awry. Once Dakota calls, I should for sure be shoving here. Yes, we're on the bubble. We're close to the money, but we're crushing Preston and this other lady's range, and Dakota probably would have check raised here if he had 2 pair or a set. So the only thing he could potentially smooth call with is if he flopped a straight, but then there's 2 hearts. He should probably be raising that anyway. I make the mistake by just calling, and I think, you know what? If the board comes with anything 9 through king on the turn, I'm just going to get it in on the turn. That was kind of my thought at the time, which is not a horrendous strategy. Turn is an ace, terrible card. Now it goes check, 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 check. The river card comes, a 6. It checks over to Preston, who bets so small. He bets 20,000. Dakota folds. I call now just because of crazy pot odds. We're getting an insane price here. And he gives us the bad news of the queen 8 offsuit for a gut shot on the river. So again, I think of all the hands I played in the tournament, this was my biggest mistake, not just check jamming here on the flop. But, you know, you're not allowed a lot of mistakes. And I'll think about it and won't make that mistake next time. So now we've had the trifecta. We would have gone broke with the ace-10 versus Arlie's aces. We could have gone broke with the kings versus Preston Dean's queen-8. And his one-outer on the turn could have knocked us out as well. But we're hanging in. We're surviving. We're getting very, very short. But we're getting closer and closer to that money bubble. Now, I get dealt pocket 8s. Now, when you're short stacked, obviously pocket 8s is a hand we want to go with sometimes, and it's hard to get a hand better than that when you get shallow. However, I had people tell me I should have shoved this hand, and no, this was a bad spot to shove. Under the gun, raise, 3-bet behind that person. It doesn't matter how short we are. We're facing a lot of aggression. We want to be the first in the pot, shoving or raising when we're short. We don't want to be putting it in versus 2 opponents, and this is just a terrible spot. I elect to fold, and sure enough, we were up against pocket kings and avoided catastrophe for the 4th time. Now, we've gone through the blinds. We are waiting for this bubble to burst. it's going to be close. We're going to be blinded out in 2 rounds, so we need something good to happen now.
We're now all in the money. We may resume at all tables. Come on the field.
Put one more cash in the vault.
Dodge busting 4 times. I was destined to not cash in this thing.
But now it doesn't matter.
So as hopeful as I was to start day 2, coming in with a couple great finishes here in Deadwood, now we're thankful to be in the money, but hoping to make a run all the way up until we get the ace-7 in the big blind versus a late position short stack shove from Dakota. We snap call. Love to see that he's got king-queen. Just need to hold. We'll be right back up to 100,000. We started the hand with 39K with the big blind ante. Queen right in the window. And we're out. But another cash in a Rough Rider main and an opportunity to hop in the second chance. I don't like to sit around and bemoan the disappointment very long. I have some people to root for, and got to get on to the next tournament. I'm going to win one of these Rough Riders eventually, just not this one. Another developing storyline here is that we are playing the $250 last chance tournament, which got a huge turnout for a last tournament. 135 players playing on a Sunday afternoon after the main event. And my roommate, you remember him from earlier, that's Santi. He is the chip leader, and there's 22 left at 135, and I'm still in 7 from the money. So here's the prize pool, $7,500 up top out of a field of 135. 22 left, min cash, over 400, 75, 40, 46, 33, 80, and it is a trophy event. So let's get the win here. Here's a little shot of who's left. It's Billy. He just has to. He just had to. All right, here we go. We're back. Everybody win. Chance to bust the bubble on one hand. We are 2 from the money, 17 left, and there are 2 all-ins.
Okay.
Santi just called the all-in with Jack 3 off suit because he was in the big blind for 16,000. He's live against King Queen, and he is live against King 6 of diamonds. Any Jack or 3? Oh, okay.
Nice catch, bro. Going to take all of it.
Good game, Billy.
Yeah, man. Good playing with y'all. Good playing with y'all. It's always a good time.
And just like that, Jerry, we're in the money.
Heck yeah, we are.
Let's go. Double cash.
Double cash.
Every
Double
day.
dipping, double cashing, double spin.
I will. You guys are good. Yeah. Okay. That actually kind of worked out. Thanks, Santi.
Santi with another big hand. Pocket kings. All in pre-flop. Shane hit the ace, but Santi hits the set. Just like that. So we have 133,000 from 20K started. So we have almost 7 starting stacks. But at this point in time, with only 13 players left, the average stack is 207,000. 13 left, 75, 40 up top, 46, 60, 33, 80, 25, 20, 18, 40. Very close. We got another story.
Yeah?
This gentleman was all in with King 3 of diamonds for 2.5 bigs. I call with Ace Queen, and he gets called by King Queen. Yeah. Flop Ace King 3. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Turn King, he makes a boat, and believe it or not, still in the tournament. We got Ace 8 versus King Queen. We're good so far. Come on, hold baby. Hold baby. Deuce. Deuce. Oh, let's go. Big double. Big double. Heck yeah. Final table bubble. Let's go.
I had you both. I get you both, I call.
We got him, Santi. We got the double, and we got him off the best hand. Let's go.
Ace Jack. Nice hand.
Thank you. We are now roommates and final table partners.
Yeah.
We're gonna get all the money back from whatever bullets you were in the main event. You're gonna get back today.
4 bullets, yeah.
This is the final table. We've now got down to 9 players.
At the same time?
Huge double. Huge double. Ace King versus Ace King. That's gonna eliminate. We're down to 7. Let's go. All in player has pocket 10s versus pocket 15s.
Tail, last chance.
We are down to 6 players. Let's go, Santi. Let's go, Santi. Guys, that's my roommate. And he's doubling up again. Now he's massive. Santi, how do you feel? Come here, come here. How do you feel about your run? You just got run over by the deck. You got 2 massive all-ins. Now you're the chip leader of the second chance.
I'm not the chip leader, but
Yes, you are. Who are you going to be heads up against? That's what I want to know.
probably you. I hope you. That'll be fun.
Yeah, me and Santi are going to go heads up. There's 6 left in our tournament.
Yeah.
And we're both playing solid, playing well. And we are about to go back in there. They're playing for this cool ass trophy, and we're playing for, what is it, $7,540. Santi, that'll get you unstuck for the week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So will the
Yeah.
4K though. You can get the 4K and I'll get the 7K.
Well, I mean, I'm down 5,000
Ooh.
plus hotels and expenses.
But your hotel is cut in half because you've got a roommate now.
Oh yeah. The best room.
Unfortunately, we did not get the heads-up match between Miles and Santi that we were hoping for. However, Santi did end up cutting into his deficit for the weekend by chopping the tournament, getting over $4,000. Unfortunately, I lost coin flip to bust in 6th place for $1,400, which was good for an $1,150 profit over my buy-in, and also I doubled my buy-in in the $1,100 tournament. So I had quite a good weekend, just under $2,500 profit. And most importantly, now I'm in the hunt for Montana Player of the Year. And provided I don't have a massive score at the World Series of Poker and I'm doing other things, I would love to go after that $10,700 for Player of the Year against some crushers. So we'll have some fun storylines there. I will be back to Deadwood very soon. But stay tuned for our final table of this main event and a great storyline between Mikio and Nobu Aoki, where you're going to see a really cool connection between brother and sister who make a deep run in this tournament. No spoilers, but it's a very cool final table. Great ending. Everyday winning. Thanks for joining us here on this Rough Rider Poker Tour, Deadwood, South Dakota.